Harry and Meghan's assets have all just been frozen in the United States. Let's stop acting like this is just guesswork. Something very serious has happened, and it happened quietly. According to sources inside the Sussex circle, the word being shared right now is cleanup. We are talking about very dangerous actions here. Erase the records, clear the trails, and hope nothing is discovered. Because here is the truth people keep avoiding. When assets are frozen, when accounts are locked, when access vanishes. You do not explain, you panic, and then you try to escape. Today, we are explaining why Harry and Meghan suddenly want to leave the United States, why the word security is being used again, and why this time it has nothing to do with paparazzi and everything to do with missing IRS tax filings and millions of dollars. And when I say millions, I mean many millions, sitting in the charity system that may have finally hit a wall. What you are about to hear is not gossip. This is about paperwork, and paperwork is where celebrities lose their protection. Let's get into it. Let's be very clear about something Americans understand naturally. You do not play games with the Internal Revenue Service. The IRS does not care who your father is. It does not care about titles. It does not care about trauma stories. According to sources on the ground, the IRS opened an investigation into Arwell last week after growing public pressure and unanswered questions. And here's the part people still are not fully understanding. When the IRS investigates a charity, they do not just check spreadsheets. They look at who benefited. They look at expenses that seem personal, payments that circle back to founders, operating costs that quietly support lifestyles. And according to what is being alleged, there is serious concern that money listed as charity expenses may have gone back to Harry and Meghan themselves. Stop for a moment and think about that. If that is true, that is not bad public image. That is fraud. And fraud is why the next claim changes everything. Because once an investigation begins, the IRS can take one extremely damaging step. They can freeze assets, which is exactly what we are told happened next. And when that happens, when the money stops moving, suddenly the United States does not feel very welcoming anymore. If you want to understand this situation, you must understand one thing very clearly. Everything financial about Harry and Meghan runs through their charity foundation, RQL. This includes staff, lifestyle, image, expenses, and survival. The RQL Foundation is not just a nice charity, it is the financial backbone of the Sussex operation. And this is where the trouble begins. As a public charity, RQL is legally required to provide its tax returns to anyone who formally asks for them. Several people did exactly that. But when U.S. authorities asked for the 2023 and 2024 tax filings, those documents were never given. More importantly, the IRS itself has not posted RQL's filings on its public database, and that happens for only one reason. They were not approved. No approval means questions were not answered. No approval means expenses did not match up. No approval means someone did not like what they saw. And when a charity cannot get its filings approved, the situation stops being about public relations and becomes federal. Stay with me, because this is where it becomes deeply uncomfortable. Now let's talk about the money people are whispering about, but refusing to explain. Invictus Games Foundation. Millions were raised, millions were moved, and now millions are being questioned. Think about this. Why did Birmingham receive £26 million while the city was financially collapsing? Why are veterans still underfunded, while huge sums moved through connected foundations? Why is Invictus suddenly under scrutiny at the same time as Arwell? These are not conspiracy theories. These are financial questions. And when donors, governments, and the public start asking where the money went, silence becomes dangerous. Because now, this is not just about Harry and Meghan. It is about everyone connected to the money trail. And once that happens, institutions stop protecting individuals. They protect themselves. This is the moment everything shifts, because according to the information presented, the assets were fully frozen. Let that sink in. Not delayed, not reviewed. Frozen. When a charity's assets are frozen, it means one thing: no transfers, no withdrawals, no quiet rearranging behind the scenes. And for Harry and Meghan, that is disastrous because their entire operation reportedly depends on access to charity funds, staff salaries, security arrangements, PR contracts, legal consultations, lifestyle costs, all of it. And suddenly, it is gone. This explains the panic we are seeing now. This explains the urgency. This explains why they are not defending themselves with facts, documents, or filings. Because when the money stops moving, you are exposed. And when you are financially exposed, you do not fight the system. You look for a system that will not fight back. Which brings us directly to the next move the Sussexes plan to make, and it is not subtle. Security. Watch the wording closely. Suddenly, discussion about Harry and Meghan's security is back. Suddenly, returning to the United Kingdom is described as necessary. Suddenly, Harry's legal battles over protection are being revived. This has nothing to do with safety in the UK. This is about jurisdiction. Because here is the reality people need to stop denying. In the United States, IP status does not protect you from investigations. It does not shield you from tax law. It does not stop federal agencies from asking very uncomfortable questions. But in the UK, it is a different situation. The rules change, and we have seen that change play out before, very publicly. Let's say his name so you understand where we have seen this before. Prince Andrew. This is the example everyone is pretending not to notice. Despite serious accusations, despite public outrage, despite global attention, British authorities have refused to properly investigate him while he remained protected by royal status. There were no police actions, no criminal accountability, no consequences within the system. And that is not opinion. That is history. And Harry knows this. He knows that in the UK, royals are effectively untouchable. He knows investigations slow down. He knows institutions protect themselves. So when the IRS investigation begins heating up in America, when charity assets are allegedly frozen, when access to money disappears, the UK does not look like home. It looks like cover. And that is why this move is not emotional. It is strategic. Now, we are going to explain why Harry and Meghan believed IP status would protect them, why that belief is wrong, and why this misunderstanding may have increased their desperation instead of saving them. Because when you misjudge power, the fall happens faster. Stay with me. This is the part people do not want to connect, but we are going to connect it. Because when you look at what is happening now, it does not exist alone. Meghan Markle has already been accused in court of submitting false sworn statements, not forgetting, not misunderstanding, blatantly lying. The court acknowledged it. The record shows it. And still, nothing happened. No charges, no consequences, no accountability. That matters because when someone learns they can lie under oath and face no punishment, it changes how they act. It builds confidence. It creates the belief that rules do not apply. And when you mix that mindset with control over charity, money, weak oversight, and a powerful title, you do not get transparency. You get entitlement. And entitlement always collapses when it meets a system that does not care about your story. Let's say what people are avoiding. According to the claims, Harry and Meghan are running out of money. Loans could not be secured. Brands failed to launch. Harry allegedly had to fund projects himself. Canada did not want them. America began asking questions. Even the UK is politically toxic. They are unpopular, they are distrusted, and they drain every system they enter. This is what happens when image runs ahead of substance. Eventually, the math catches up, and math does not care how famous you are. Which brings us to the final truth of this story. Here's what no one tells you about power. It does not disappear suddenly. It leaks. It leaks through late filings, through frozen accounts, through unanswered letters, through sudden moves disguised as security concerns. If what is being claimed here is true, then this is not a scandal. It is a countdown. Because the moment charity money freezes, the moment tax status is denied, the moment investigations begin, you lose control of the narrative. The documents take over. And documents do not care about trauma stories, titles, or carefully built victim images. They care about numbers, dates, signatures, transfers. This chapter is not over, because when money speaks, silence becomes loud. And this story is only just beginning.